TTC, I'm Dolphignition. Allow me to start by saying that this is not a victory lap, because I never made a hate week due to errands I had to run at a time where I could have. I'm aware of the traditional rules of the TTC. You must make a crow or pay bets after making a hate week if your team loses. Victory laps are optional, but you are not allowed to make one if you haven't already uploaded a hate week. Hence, I won't be the sore winner. I leave victory laps to veteran Dolphin TTC vid makers when it comes to winning against our divisional rivalry. Now, instead in this video, I'm going to talk about our season as a whole, followed by how the entire 29th of December went when we beat the Patriots. So let me get started. Our first opponents were the Baltimore Ravens. We sadly get crushed by them all the time, and frustratingly, because they're actually smart at drafting players from the University of Miami. Just when we were all excited for Dolphins football with a slight bit of knowledge that we know we were going to base our season on rebuilding by sacrificing being good, that was until I saw the score in the first half. 0-28. I couldn't watch anymore. And it takes a lot out of me to stop watching a game because I always stand by these colors and cheer my Dolphins from the kickoff until the kneel. We lost that game 10-59, and our next opponents who are also our last opponents at our house, were the Patriots. And I'm wondering if they could beat the Ravens' result. Sure enough, we never even scored on New England at our house. We lost 0-43. And that was merely week 2. So yeah, the Dolphins aren't looking forward to seeing what the rest of the season can offer. But we had no choice. So now it's on to Dallas. Sorry, I kind of woke up not too long ago. And because none of our receivers could catch the fucking ball, nor Fitzpatrick made the catch simple for them, they dominated the second half, and we lost 6-31. So far, our records go down in the history as the highest points we gave up. But luckily, we were going to face the Chargers at home, so it wouldn't be so bad, right? We lost 10-30. I miss the good old days, reminding San Diego how much we own them. But then they moved to Los Angeles, so now things could be different this upcoming decade. So now we could finally have a breather on our bye week, especially knowing that after the bye week is over, our next opponents would be the Washington Redskins. So this should be our first win. We lost that game too, 16-17. Only Kenyon Drake had have kept possession of the ball and ran it in from the throne, caught from Josh Rosen's throw. We could have had them. So next we had the Bills at their house. And this time, I didn't think we would even put on much of a show. What do we end up getting instead? A really impressive fight against what's supposedly one of the most legit defenses ever. I mean, they have a really legit defense. Yet, we managed to pierce through them, and we gave them a fight. But then the onside kick, caught from Micah Hyde, happened, followed by them stopping everything we could have happened. And we lost 21-31. Now on Monday Night Football, our next opponents, it was happening on Monday Night Football, and it's against the Steelers. Two recipes of disaster. Yet we looked great in the first half until the second half happened. It was like the coach was saying to the team, okay, guys, we're winning. How can we change this? And then Fitzpatrick raises his hand. The coach points to him. He spits his first half gum wad in the garbage. And then he unwraps his second half gum, all mixed, and he says this. Tell you what, coach. I'll mix Fitzmagic with Fitzception and let Fitzpatrick intercept me. And so that second half bullshit occurred. And with players like TJ Watt, Juju Smith-Schuster, and of course Minkah Fitzpatrick, the player we gave to the Steelers in exchange for a good pick, they make these dynamic rushes, and we collect our 7th loss with a final score of 14-27. Now our next opponent was the first meet against the New York Jets, coached under last season's coach Adam Gase. It was at home. This was a team that also doesn't look hot. But most importantly, it's our way of getting back at not only our long-heated rivalry against the Jets, but also at Gase for being a huge portion of last season's squad not making the playoffs. We really had a great talented team that could have made the playoffs if they weren't coached by someone else. If they were coached by someone else, we would have definitely made the playoffs. This was a talented team. Tannehill's results in Tennessee prove that. Gase sure as hell let us down by not using our men correctly that season. And lo and behold, our first win, 26-18. I had mixed feelings. I mean, as a Dolphin fan, we're supposed to be thrilled. It should always be thrilling beating the New York Jets. But they suck. I would love to have get our first win against a more surprising team. But you know what? You got to start someplace. Getting a first win is always satisfying. You got to start somewhere. However, that win wasn't as satisfying as the next one. Lucas Oil Stadium. Though I will ease the pain a little before I get into this to the Colts fans and state that, yeah, Jacoby Brissett and T.Y. Hilton weren't playing. But it was still satisfying to me nonetheless to not only end our 11 away loss streak, but also to beat the team that I argue we nearly beat last season. That 16-12 win felt so great because karma came knocking at Circle City. If you all don't remember, we faced them last season, and we nearly beat them. That game proved that without luck, they're not great. And now, this season proves that without luck, they're not great. You know, Vinatieri missing field goals was just sprinkles on top of this great cake. Life was great until our second meet against the Bills at our house happened. Now, yeah, I didn't think we'd beat them because we nearly lost to them at our house last season. But this time, once again, they got us 37-20 and they swept us. Then came the Browns' most legit win of their season, as well as Jarvis Landry's revenge as we got manhandled, 41-24. Leave it to my team to be the team to give false hope. Too bad. Yeah, let me rephrase that. Leave it to my team to be the team to give false hope to bad or overrated teams. But then again, let's be honest. Cleveland is a great team, led by a horrible coach, who just recently got fired, so thank goodness. So now we face the Eagles. And before this game, I've been trolling my favorite Eagles vidmaker in some of his live streams when he plays Apex, Call of Duty, Star Wars games, Desert Eagle 90, saying that we'll beat the Eagles and it will be an any given Sunday win. I didn't think I'd be so right. But sure enough, watching the game from start to finish, the Eagles were their own worst enemy that game. We won 37-31. This was fuel for the Cowboys nation to roast Philadelphia. But then the joke was on them. Just after recently, week 16, Philadelphia beat Dallas 17-9, only before taking the division. Nicely done, Philadelphia. Good luck in your game against the Seattle Seahawks. You're probably going to need it. Then we collected 2 more losses in the same stadium after that. We lost 21-22 against the Jets. I sure as hell underestimated Sam Darnold at home. And Ghostbusters sure as hell did a fine job at MetLife Stadium before the game happened. Followed by a 20-36 loss against the Giants. As we give a standing ovation to Eli Manning's last game there. Even we Dolph fans had to do the same, because if it wasn't for that man, those guys he worked with at the 2008 Super Bowl, our only highlight we have, being the only team to complete a perfect season, would have been taken away from our most hated team. I find it really cringeworthy how Patriots fans still consider that season to be a perfect season. You lost the Super Bowl. It wasn't a perfect season. Get over it. Next came Cincinnati, which at that point I could not wait for, but now it finally came out. UT's video uploading on this game as we won in the most ugliest way possible, giving up a 23-point lead to go into overtime. As I turned on the TV, holding in my F-bombs, I was about to unleash when Grandma was sitting next to me. See, like last season in week 16 when we faced the Jacksonville Jaguars, my grandma was coming in for the holidays up from Chicago, and the game was going on as we were going to the airport to pick her up, take her back, and then when I turn on the TV, 35-35. I was like, what? What the hell did you, what, how did you even get to this? How did you even get to this? Against the Bengals! Luckily, a successful field goal resulted the game 38-35. We probably should have lost this game in the most epic fashion for the Bengals, but and it would have probably gotten us in higher draft picks, but I'm not the type of guy to root for hoping our team to lose just for that. And then we go into our final opponents. Our Super Bowl at New England. I didn't think I'd make it because I had to FaceTime with family I love from Brisbane, Australia. And yeah, the time zone between Florida and there is demonic. I ended up waking up at like 5:30 in the morning to set everything up. But I made it. For a decade, we have not ever won at New England until we realized Christmas comes twice a year, as Fitzpatrick, Parker, Gesicki, Sanders, and most importantly, our coach, Brian Flores, and the defensive team, and Christian Wilkins and the boys stepped up to the plate, and we ended that drought with a final score of 27-24. I was so worried and at the end of the game, I was so worried the Patriots were going to execute a miracle play at Foxborough. But thankfully, we stopped them and pretty much won our Super Bowl. I really shouldn't say that, but I have to be a realist. This was indeed our Super Bowl. I even wrote it in Master at Work stream, which I'll get to that in a minute. It's funny how people say we did a bad job at tanking. Yet if you want to completely execute a successful tank, you have to balance some form of showing the world you've come to the gridiron to play. Because if we just continue to lose purposely, that's not only bad for business, it's bad for the organization, but most importantly, it's bad for the fans, regardless of whether they're aware of a season of rebuilding. If they don't give a damn about winning, then that shows they wouldn't give a damn about our fans. And that's never a good idea. Throughout the entire game, I've been watching the TV in the distance downstairs, but I was also watching on the computer Master at Work stream. I was thinking about streaming myself watching this game, just like I did last year, but I had a good feeling TD Finstock was already doing that, and I knew Master at Work would, so I changed my mind and decided to watch it through his responses, through his reactions. Sure enough, it was a spectacle. I was chatting with this Pats fan from South California, Philip Orayo. I hope I pronounced that correctly. If not, Philip Oralo. Capital F, lowercase e, lowercase a, capital R. Boy, did we passionately butt heads for the sake of our organizations. It was kind of fun. Some moderators, I think her name was Amanda Amor or something. Tay Mendoza of the Bills Mafia, who I trust was watching the Jets-Bills game while watching this stream as well. DeQuavis P came in. Albert with the cat PFP, who kept going with spoiling the game on the comments for Master at Work at times. And Master at Work gave me a shout. And I must say, he gave me a shout out during his stream. And as much as I respectfully loathe you as my way of saying you do your work, which is getting under people's skin with the team you've repped even before success started reaching to unbelievable heights with this organization, by executing that in the form of these montages, you do your job pretty damn good. Although, I was kind of expecting in your reaction video, at least Belichick's face planted on the Homelander in that scene where he leaves all the passengers, players of the Patriots, are face planted on each of them, to die in the plane while yelling to Tom Brady, "Don't die with them," while extending his arm out. You stay the fuck back or I'll laser every one of you, god damn it! I'll laser every fucking one of you! But instead, you give out a really confident message that I actually really respect. Saying, instead of bitching that you're not on the Iron Throne, you actually say you're more excited about this playoff season, the Patriots now going into, having to work harder to get back into the promised land, which is the Super Bowl. And I definitely respect that more than the people who cry about not being the way it always is. You know, Patriots always on the Iron Throne or the second seed of the playoffs. But I have just one question to the entire Patriots fan base. Your first opponents are the Tennessee Titans, a team led by a former Dolphins quarterback who at this point knows Tom Brady forwards and backwards, backed up by a Heisman Trophy winner who's kicking the curse to the curb. I'm curious to know how you guys will get past them. And to the Chiefs fans, congratulations on making your second seed. And on behalf of the Dolphins fan base, you're welcome. But do not sleep on your first opponents who you face in the playoffs. You either have the Patriots, whom your fan bases have butted heads both at Arrow Stadium and Gillette. I trust the defensive coordinator got it together better than last year. But on the other hand, you've got the Titans, a team that a couple years ago shockingly beat you guys, and now with a really dynamic squadron. Don't celebrate if they beat the New England, because that just makes it scarier if Tennessee ends up being your opponents. Which, surprisingly, not that I'm underestimating the Patriots. I'm sure Bill Belichick is going to put the Tennessee Titans up a fight. I surprisingly think Tennessee could upset the world, shock the world. I mean, they definitely have what it takes to beat the Patriots. I mean, they've beaten them last year, so let's see if they can do it again in the playoffs, which is Patriots' home field advantage. And when they do, all I can ask is this. Can the red and white tomahawk do it? This season as a whole was something we needed. For the longest time, we've been like a treadmill. We're walking. We're going forward, only to realize we're going nowhere. I personally preferred this season over last season. Yeah, we finished a better record last season, but we also finished with the realization that last year's squadron had talents. The only thing in their way was a coach named Adam Gase and a defensive coordinator named Matt Burke. How the hell did that guy even make it to the playoffs with the Eagles? Maybe they're just that surprisingly good with so much hidden potential. No wonder the fans are crazy about him. Though the Miami Miracle was amazing, it was truthfully the only highlight of that upsetting season. Unlike this season, where we knew we were at the bottom, in which we can only go nowhere but higher, last season we thought we were going to do great, only to then produce underwhelming results. It also ended horribly afterwards. We beat the Patriots this season. This season, we beat the Patriots, and that was the end of the season. The end of it all. But last season, we beat the Patriots on a miracle play, only to then lose. At Minnesota, at home, to fucking Jacksonville for crying out loud, and then to the Bills. Badly. Eventually, this season, like Scooby-Doo and the gang when solving the mystery of the Creeper, the squadron split up. I don't know about anyone else, but if I know I'm going to lose a game, I'd be satisfied that I know the result ahead of time, because now I can go in the game not feeling depressed. And I find that circumstance, I don't know about anyone else, better than when you're expected to be good, only to then get exposed like hell. And that was why I was alright with this season. Yeah, allowing 231 points to be scored against us the first 7 games sucked. But then we collected those wins against the Jets, the Colts, the Eagles, Bengals, before week 17. We started realizing ourselves, and hopefully the view will be clear in 2020. One thing is for sure, I really love this fucking coach. And I'm excited to see what kind of results he can put in. Because the days where we put smiles on the faces of those who hate the Patriots and those teams that suck but believe they'll get an easy W on us, I would like to see come to a very end. We the people of the Dolphin Nation are tired of mediocrity and we are ready to become competitive again. And I believe they will be more competitive, if not next year, the following year. And if they don't draft any quarterbacks, but just running backs and receivers, and they decide to keep Fitzpatrick, fuck it. I'm in. So to wrap up this video, to all my fellow subscribers, I'm sorry I haven't made a whole lot of videos this season, so this video is pretty much my way of making it all up for that. But from my soul and the bottom of my heart, I hope you all had a good Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Christmas, and Boxing Day. And for me, not for the sake of keeping you as subscribers, but just for me from the bottom of my heart. Stay alive and make it to 2021. We're entering a new decade, and I'm excited about how different the future may be. What new trends will come out? What new artist songs come out? How green we could get now that climate change has been getting crazier these last couple of days. And of course, how the tier list will change for the next 10 years of sports to come. Who knows? We might end up seeing Browns finally become top tier. We might end up seeing maybe the Knicks, New York Knicks, maybe 5 years' time, start to become a dark horse riding off into the sunset. We might end up finally seeing my Florida Panthers, finally win a Stanley Cup for once. Who knows what could happen, but it's exciting nonetheless. So, this is Dolphignition. Fins up. Hashtag bad guys forever, because Tom Brady said so. And I will see you all in 2020. Take care, everybody. Go Dolphins!